about last night. Let's talk about last night. But before we do so, I've got a question for all of you. All right? How many of you genuinely believed all of that shenanigan that happened between Jareed and Liema last night? I mean, guys, if you honestly did buy it all, if you honestly did swallow it all, hook, line, and sinker, please let me know in the comment section. I want to know how many of you are really gullible and how many of you are really alert and aware to all of this fakery going on. Because guys, I don't. I don't. And I'll give you my reasons. I'll prove it to you. But aside that, I watched how everything played out, and once again, it was quite disappointing to watch another of the numerous poorly planned out pathetic script to enhance a sorry pathetic plot, but poorly executed. Because even the main characters in that storyline, they just did not even know how to take themselves serious. They just did not know how to really act out their script. So it was really pathetic and boring to watch. And I'll tell you all about it. Of course, I'll tell you what happened, what I saw happened at the party and the aftermath of it all. I'll tell you all about it, and of course, I'll give you my frank opinion about it. And yes, housemates had their own opinion about everything that was happening. And frankly speaking, the only housemate that was actually really woke in that whole situation, that saw through all the fakery, was Makeke. Thumbs up to Makeke. Massive accolades to Makeke. That guy is smart. That guy is smart. He cannot be fooled. Makeke is smart. And then there was also Mcjunior. Oh my God. If you follow me on Twitter, you probably must have seen my analysis of Mcjunior's role in this whole shenanigan. Guys, all I can say is Olympus has finally fallen. And speaking about Mcjunior, later on in the early hours of this morning, I listened to Liema, retell everything that happened last night. Before the party, during the party, and after the party. And ladies and gentlemen, as far as the details of before the party was concerned, I'm not really certain if she was actually telling the truth or not. But you see details of what happened during the party and after the party. God have mercy. What do you call people who lie confidently and even go as far as believing their own lie? What do you call people like that? If you know that name, that was exactly who Liema showed herself to be last night. And this is not the first time. She did the same thing when she had issues with Yolanda, and then she did the same thing again last night. You know what, let me not waste your time. Let's get into this video, all right? Watch to the end. Do not skip out on any part. And of course, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, all right? And officially, you're all welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Gloria Elijah. This is Frankly Speaking with Gloria Elijah, and I am the girl with the T. For those of you that are yet to subscribe, please do not hesitate to do exactly what you see on your screen. Quickly, let's get right into the business of this video. All right, so first off, the party was lit. I thoroughly enjoyed it. That DJ, woof! That DJ really brought some fire to the party room. I loved everything he was playing. It was a swell time, and the housemates were having so much fun. And initially, it did not seem like there was going to be any drama. It did not seem like anything was going to happen. Yes, but later on, I saw some movement happening here and there, and it was at that point I knew that, oh dear, once again, we're going to be having another Saturday night episode with Jareed and Liema, and of course including a willing party to their shenanigan. And at that point in time, I knew I was going to be bored again. And these people did not feel my speculation, because what I thought was exactly what happened. Now, before they started their own drama, Papa Ghost and Lerato, they had a slight situation that had warranted Lerato to angrily leave. the party room. So she had gone to the toilet inside the house. Jareed had followed her, and sadly, production did not allow us hear fully the conversation they were having. And for the millionth time, I'm like, well, if it was Liema and Jareed that are going to the toilet to do their shenanigans, at least production will give them some screen time, to prepare our minds ahead, towards whatever nonsense they are going to display later on. So it was quite sad that we did not really get to hear properly and even understand what that situation was about, because almost immediately the camera had gone back into the party room. And then we saw, I think it was Els and Papi, I guess, having a conversation with Papa Ghost, So I did not really understand what was happening, between these two people. And quite frankly, I was hoping to hear them have a conversation about it, but they settled their differences. After his talk with Lerato inside the house, Jareed had returned back to the party. He had gone straight to Liema. He had whispered something in Liema's ears. I don't know what he said. And mind you, both of them, they had danced, they had kissed, they had fun, they had done their usual shenanigan, right there and then. But what I didn't understand was when they moved to the bar, it had seemed like they wanted to continue with their usual thing. We know that on Saturdays, whilst the party is going on, both of them, they will look for one secluded part of the party room to go and have their lengthy conversation. They will be kissing. Sometimes you see them looking at the cameras to see if the camera is on them. So they were doing something similar again last night. They were by the bar. Liema held him around the neck. Sometimes you see them bending their neck. You see them kissing. But they were talking. They were just doing things. And it seemed like everything was fine. It seemed like everything was all well and good. At some point, Liema had run into the house. Somebody had come to tell her that, oh, Lerato is inside the house. She's in the toilet. Something was happening, yada, yada, yada. And she had run into the house to go meet Lerato. And I guess she did that because when she too is having a meltdown with Jareed, Lerato is that one person, that runs into the house to go and, sympathize with her, empathize with her, and, encourage her to go fight for a man. So they probably tried to reciprocate the energy by rushing back into the house. And then she came out again and, she and Jareed were doing whatever they were doing. And that was where things just escalated from 0 to 100. People that were kissing and licking their necks and Jareed licking her face at the bar 1 minute. The next minute, Liema was now, she was shouting at Jareed. She was saying a lot of things at him. And Jareed had left. He had gone to dance with Z. And that was where we saw Liema trying to sort of attack either Jareed or Z. I don't know who she was trying to attack. But the camera was moving too much, so we could not really see what was happening.
I didn't feel it's fighting. Liema. She attacked him.
And then Sinaye and Mcjunior, I guess, they were trying to pull Liema away. So it looked like a fight or something. It looked like she was poking Jareed in the chest, and Jareed was laughing and smiling, and Z was busy twerking on Jareed. So they were able to pull Liema to the bar. She was really upset, probably venting to Sinaye as well. And that was where we saw Jareed give his full attention to Els. Kissing, they were laughing, they were dancing, they were just acting like a regular couple on the dance floor. And then later on, before we knew it, Liema got really upset and she stormed out of the party room, went to the house, and apparently she went to, change into her night clothes and she got into her bed. Now, one would have thought that Liema would have gone to bed or, better still, gone upstairs to the head of house lounge to go and sleep to avoid all the drama in court. But ladies and gentlemen, that was not the case because, as I would say, the script that had been planned out, the poorly planned out script, got into full execution the moment the party was over and everybody had returned back to the house. Before they even got back into the house, at the party room, of course, Sinaye was quite upset, Mcjunior was upset, and Sinaye tried talking to Jareed whilst he was dancing with Els, you know, and it seemed like he was sort of really upset with Els because Els was trying to join the conversation and he was like, you know, the way he was gesticulating like he doesn't want to talk to her or something, right? And we know, yes, of course, that Sinaye's got this friendship or whatever it is going on with Liema, you know, so he was sort of being overprotective, you know, over Liema, and the whole drama thing was just happening like that. Anyways, fast forward to when they got back into the house, turns out that, you know, word had spread like wildfire, you know, in the party room. Housemates were, you know, already aware of what had happened, and Makeke and Sinaye, they were having a conversation about it, and Makeke was kind of irritated. For him, it's become too obvious now what these people are doing. It's become very obvious that everybody is playing a game. Sinaye too said it, that, oh yes, it's very obvious that everybody in that entanglement is actually playing a game. According to Makeke, they are not even cooking. They're not even serious. You can tell that they're just, you know, playing out cheap tricks and whatnot, you know, to just create drama, to just create highlights. I'm paraphrasing now what Makeke said.
You know, when we say, yeah, when they say it's a game, like, yeah, we are cooking, yeah. This is not cooking, it's obvious, obvious. You think so? Yeah, it's obvious, there's no cooking.
And the guy said for him, he doesn't believe it anymore, that it's now boring. And I'm like, Makeke, thank you. It's not very boring. Yes, it's not very boring because it's like these people have run out of ideas. And just as Makeke rightly explained, if they really want to give us drama, they would do the most unexpected thing in that house that would shake the whole house to the point that Big Brother would have to send in ninjas to come and separate fights. But what they are doing, it's become very, very obvious. It's become extremely boring. So for him, he's not buying any of these things that they are doing anymore. You know, and guys, everything Makeke was saying was nothing but the truth. In my head, I'm thinking, that is one housemate right there that can never be fooled. Because even the blind can see that these people, leading up to Saturday, leading up to Thursdays, they sit down, they plan their nonsense. And the cameras will never show us when they are planning their shit. But we know that that is what it is. So the conversation between those two carried on and even shifted to what they felt would happen, you know, once week 8 begins. According to Makeke, people are going to start doing the most because the competition will become tougher, you know. And that was where Sinaye got into his bragging mode, you know, the usual thing that he would do with Taki, listening and encouraging him to, you know, to go ahead and do it. This dude was talking about, oh, if he doesn't get evicted on Sunday night, that he's going to pull one heavy stunt that nobody would expect. It's going to be so unexpected. It's going to shake the whole house. I'm like, yeah. What you gonna do, bro? What you gonna do?
Yeah, I promise if I stay tomorrow, Makeke, there's going to be a move that I will pull off that none of you guys expect. Also, if I stay tomorrow, I promise you.
Because guys, this is not the first, this is not the second, this is not the third. This is like the millionth time we've heard Sinaye cooking. But dude is always cooking and cooking and cooking and cooking and cooking. At the end of the day, when you look into his pot, it's empty. There's nothing, absolutely nothing in that pot. And if you even think about it, what is that one thing, that one stunt, what is that one last card that Sinaye has got up his sleeves that we do not already know about? Is it to kiss Liema in front of Jareed to provoke him? Or is it to kiss Liema in front of Z to provoke her? What exactly is Sinaye going to do that's going to shock us, that we do not already know about, that we do not already suspect? Because earlier this week, those two people had been called into the diary room separately, you know, between minutes. And the moment they came out, you know, one after the other, Sinaye had carried Liema on his thighs, and then they were laughing and they were like, so guys, we know that it's going to happen. We know it's going to happen. As far as I'm concerned, if it happens, then it will be that icing on the cake on this pathetic plot that we are being made to watch this season. So listening to Sinaye, guys, I just like, bro, just sit this one out. You don't have ideas. You don't have game. You're just in that house occupying space. So please shift. Anyways, back to Liema and Jareed's drama. Jareed and Els were enjoying each other's company. You know, they were going around the house, doing whatever they were doing. At some point, they were in the closet. And Liema was lying in bed, you know, looking and acting miserable. She had the sheets covering up to her head, but not her face. And so the camera was really, you know, zooming into her face for us to see that, oh my God, production's pet is looking miserable. She's hurt. She's heartbroken. I'm like, okay, we're waiting for the climax of tonight. Anyways, Junior, as a friend, was already upset, you know, on Liema's behalf. So he tried to, you know, get her out of the mood. He went to her, tried to encourage her to come out of bed. And, you know, he said he was cooking something. She should come to the kitchen so that they can talk. And Liema was like, okay, she's going to come. And then she made an attempt to go into the dressing room, you know, to change or wear some clothes because she was wearing just her lingerie. And she said she wanted to go and change. And then Els and Jareed were there. Now, initially, she was calling Mcjunior. I don't know what she was asking of this guy, but according to what Jareed was saying, she was telling Mcjunior that she wanted to spend the night in his bed, you know, that night. So Jareed was laughing about it. And then Jareed moved on to her side. I think he wanted to talk to her or whatever, but it was quite provocative. And Liema tried to dress up and leave. And that was where she couldn't hold it anymore. And then she was now facing Els. That, oh, Els, he's using you, blah, 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 blah. He's using you. He's just using you to try to provoke me, to get at me, blah, 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 blah. And Jareed was laughing. And that was where she insulted Jareed, that he's got a micro dick, that you should get away from here with your micro dick. And then she got upset and stormed out of the dressing room like, Jareed has got a micro dick? Really? Really? Should we start analyzing that? Should we start talking about it? Because the micro dick this girl is talking about, earlier yesterday, these two were literally naked in the jacuzzi. Mpumi was there with them. Willie was there at some point. These people were skinny dipping in the jacuzzi. At some point, they ran out of the jacuzzi naked. Jareed's dick was dangling up and down, and what I saw did not look micro. The way Liema described it. And talking about the micro dick, is it not the same dick that she gives a hand job most nights? Is it not the same dick that Pale caught her giving a blowjob in the toilet? Is it not the same micro dick that she was grinding the day her grandmother passed? Is it not the same micro dick that this girl has actually been servicing in that house? So what's she talking about? And Jareed, as he rightly said, he was laughing so hard, you know, because she said that, and then she went to her bed, and she stayed in her bed, and she was acting like she wanted to cry, and the guy was laughing. Well, the guy was like, you see, that's when you know that they are really mad. That's when you know that they are really angry, you know? And Jareed was telling her, now you see, I told you I was going to do it back to you. So they were just having an exchange, and she was telling Jareed, you've won, okay, fine, you've won.
I'm giving you your crap. You've won. You fucking won.
You're lying, nigga. That's what I hate about you, bro.
I feel sad, I feel hurt, I feel angry. You've won.
Thank you. I'll take my colors.
And you just continue.
How about shit?
Yes.
Guys, they had that exchange. And Jareed seemed to be having a good time because he did not care. So Liema once again was in victim mode. She was in pity mode. She was looking miserable. She was looking sad. And there was one question I kept on asking myself whilst all of those things were happening. That Liema has access to the head of house lounge. It's not like she doesn't have access to the head of house lounge. So if really she did not want to get provoked, why didn't she seek refuge in the head of house lounge? If that whole drama was actually real, why didn't she try to avoid anything that would make her catch a strike? Why didn't she seek refuge in the head of house lounge? Because the way everything was going, it looked like she was enjoying it, which once again convinced me that these people, they planned it all for it to happen that way. Because she now left her bed. She said she was not going to stay in bed anymore. She wasn't going to sleep anymore. Sinai was even advising her that she should not react. Because obviously Jareed wants a reaction from her. So she should not react. She should remember she's hanging on one strike and anything she does could lead to a disqualification. And she was like, no, she's not going to do anything. And then she went to the lounge, and then guys, Liema was back in Liema's mode again. And for someone that claimed that Jareed really hurt her, at some point in the kitchen, she wanted to eat. And Jareed was eating out of, some plate. I don't know if it was a plate, but Jareed was there eating from the plate, and Pumi was also eating from the plate, and Jareed was talking to her, and she was responding like normal, like they were good. I'm like, nah, these people think we're jokers. These people are jokers. I'm like, nah, these people think we're jokers. These people think we're very dumb, like we're not seeing what's happening. And then the next minute, it felt like she actually remembered that, oh my God, I'm supposed to be playing the victim here. I'm supposed to be looking hurt and heartbroken. I need to get back into character. And then she went back into character again. And then it was afterwards that this lengthy conversation between herself and Mcjunior ensued. And ladies and gentlemen, I listened to Mcjunior in that conversation. And that was when I shook my head and said, no ways. Indeed, Olympus has fallen. Now, why did I say that? If you all cast your mind back 2 weeks ago, when Liema started moving on to Mcjunior, trying to drag him into her entanglement with Jareed and Pumi and else, Mcjunior gave us all the impression that he wasn't going to fall for it. He gave us all the impression that he was standing his ground. He knows the game that Liema is playing, and he knows, no doubt, he knows. Don't get it wrong. He knows. Even 2 nights ago, he was telling her that it's interesting how she's fooling everybody in the house, acting like she's dumb, like she's naive, like she doesn't know what she's doing, when indeed she knows what she's doing. That he admires the game that she's playing, but she shouldn't bring it to him because he's not about to be involved in a bullshit, that he doesn't want to be seen sitting with her, because the moment Jareed sees that, Jareed might decide to retaliate and attack and do whatnot. So Mcjunior is fully aware of the game Liema is playing. He sees through it. He has analyzed her completely, and he knows, in fact, he has clocked her game. He knows. But ladies and gentlemen, I watched Mcjunior's reaction yesterday, right from the party room to after the party. The way he stayed awake with Liema up until about 3 a.m. South African time, or was it 2 a.m. South African time? And I was just shaking my head in pity. Because what I saw was a guy that had fallen for Liema's manipulation. And that means Liema has done a good job on Mcjunior's mind. She has really played a very good mind game on Mcjunior. So for that, I give Liema kudos. She has done a great job. But back to Mcjunior. Guys, it was so glaring that Mcjunior has completely fallen into a very dark rabbit hole that even he himself does not even realize. Because, ladies and gentlemen, number one, Mcjunior was so upset. According to him, he kept on talking about how he's so upset with Jareed and Els and Z, that even Z, he used to like Z, he used to think she's cool. And what was Mcjunior's upset the most? His upset was that when he saw Jareed getting on with Els and dancing with Z, he had approached Jareed for a conversation. Ask, why are you doing this to Liema? You're hurting her. And Jareed had said, well, that he's been planning it for weeks. That Liema kissed young Papi after they had a conversation about it, for her not to do it, but she went ahead to do it. So it's basically getting back at her. And for him, he thinks that that's really fucked up. How does a nigger spend so much time? When he says he doesn't care, how does he spend so much time planning revenge? That is so fucked up. Mcjunior was ranting and ranting and ranting. And you know what's funny? This guy was getting all heated, was getting all hot and all whatnot. And Liema is just there. There's this smirk on her face when people are dying on top of her matter. And you know that, yeah, the script is scripting. The plan is working. Mcjunior was there getting all heated, getting all angry. And you can tell that the similar venom he has for Papa Ghost and Lerato was already building up in him towards Jareed. And it completely reminded me of how this guy inherited Papa Ghost officially on behalf of Fahima. You all remember what happened between Mcjunior and Fahima, right? They were friends. It felt like they were getting really close, and then all of a sudden Fahima moved on to Willie and young Papi, and then Mcjunior was really upset, and then he became head of house, and Fahima, you know, was acting like a damsel in distress. Oh, Papa Ghost is giving me a headache in this house, and Mcjunior rode on that, inheriting Fahima's beef with Papa Ghost. And that was the night he confronted Papa Ghost, you know, resulting into a heated, you know, insults. Like, how do I even put it now? That was the night he actually confronted Papa Ghost, that he was gunning for a fight. And Papa Ghost was just looking at him like, who is this child? You know, he really got in his feelings, wanted to fight Papa Ghost because of Fahima. And then afterwards, both of them became very close. He even fell in love with Fahima in that house. He fell in love with Fahima in that house. And guys, all what I could see from that whole episode with Liema now, you know, looking at his past experience with Fahima, what I could see was that Mcjunior has so many insecurities to the extent that it doesn't even know how to handle himself, control his emotions when a pretty girl gives him attention.
Not gonna kiss you, chill. I'm not going to kiss you, chill.
Okay. Fahima gave Mcjunior so much attention because the guy felt like he wasn't worthy of someone like Fahima. I mean, look at the body, look at the shape, look at the attitude, the sass. The guy felt like he wasn't worthy of it. But then, the hottest girl in the house gave him all of that attention. And, you know, decided to buy her fight, inherit her enemies. And now it's happening with Liema again. And I was just watching Mcjunior. The guy, because in this conversation with Liema, he kept on saying, even the way we're sitting down right now, I don't want you to sit close to me because I don't want to be involved in your bullshit. But then Liema told him, I would like to sleep in your bed. And he was like, you'd like to sleep in my bed? She said yes. And I was like, oh fuck, this is the right thing to do, oh my God. He agreed, but he was beating himself up. He could not control himself. And then later on, he was having a conversation about it all with, that's the whole Jareed and Liema situation with Sinaye, and you could see the vehemence. Mcjunior was so upset. And guys, I'm like, wow. You see what I've been telling you all along? That Mcjunior is so consumed by his toxic competition with Papa Ghost that he doesn't even realize that Liema is a threat to his game. Why? Because all through last night, Mcjunior was enabling Liema's script with Jareed. He was buying everything she was saying, hook, line, and sinker. He was encouraging her storyline. And he doesn't even realize that that is what he's doing. And here is the worst part. They were still up till late, you know, discussing the whole thing. And you know the funny thing, Liema wouldn't say much. Mcjunior was the one lamenting. In fact, he was giving us songs of lamentations. He was lamenting, why is nigga so bad? Nigga is so mean. He was so angry. And he kept on saying it over and over again, you know, expressing his disappointment in Jareed, in Els, in Z, even insulting those ones, you know, making Liema, you know, feel comfortable in a role play as the victim, whilst he villainized the other people because he was mad at the fact that, oh, they hurt Liema's feelings. And then Pumi joined them in the conversation. I loved every single thing Pumi said to Liema because everything she was saying was nothing but the truth. She was telling Liema, because Liema was like, oh, what would you have done? She was like, well, I don't know what's on your mind. The only person that knows what's on your mind is Big Brother. And you, of course. You sitting down here with Mcjunior right now, acting like you're sad. It could be like you're giving us a front. It could be like that is not exactly how you feel, but you're just trying to put on a show. I'm like, girl, thank you. Because that's what I've been saying. That's what I'm seeing. You know? And then she was talking about, well, what would I have done? That's what I already did. I walked away because I told Digga that, hey, this whole thing is not for me. I walked away. So you are still there. You alone knows what both of you discuss in private, and you alone knows what you're enjoying there. So I cannot advise you. And then Liema said she wanted to tell them how everything happened. And guys, as I said at the start of this video, I'm not really sure about the details of before the party, but you see the details of during the party and after the party. Nah, Liema was lying blatantly. She was lying. She was lying, guys. She was lying. She was lying. She was making it look like she didn't do anything. Or Jareed was the one that was. She even said that during the party, Jareed was insulting her, calling her the worst names ever. And I'm like, when did all of these things happen? Because what I saw at the party, you know, was these two people kissing and loving up on the dance floor. And then they moved on to the bar to continue their romance. It was just all of a sudden, boom, that Liema started talking to Jareed and I'm like, when did all of those things happen? Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that was what happened last night from what I watched. And that is my analysis as well of that whole situation. I don't know about you. I don't know if by now you're still blaming Jareed for breaking Liema's heart or breaking... Guys, it's all up to you. But I would love to know your thoughts in the comment section below. So please go ahead and share. And I'll see you guys on another episode of Frankly Speaking with Gloria Elijah. Have an amazing day. Bye.